This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast for Tuesday, March 1st. Oh my gosh, I love March. I love March. I love March. I love March.
Not quite the first day of summer I had pictured.
Okay, I promised today was going to be the first day of summer.
It's the first day of March, so that's okay.
I
We had
didn't wear
flurries
shorts.
this morning.
Didn't wear
No, you
shorts.
didn't. You're still in your sweaters
Yeah,
and
didn't dress
pants.
for it.
So, but
For me,
yes,
winter is-
winter is over.
Yeah,
for
November
you.
1st to February 20th. When I get into March, I'm always so happy. March break is coming up. March Madness is coming up. Violence Awareness Random Acts of Kindness Week is next week. St. Patrick's Day is in there. The first day of spring is
Your
in
birthday.
there. Yeah, whatever. But March is just, the end. We begin the thaw into spring. So
Yes, we
I hope
do.
you're having a good March 1st. And if you're like absolutely everybody else on the planet, it was another day to wake up and find out how the Ukraine is rocking the world.
I said it yesterday. I cannot stop watching and reading and looking and
Mm-hmm.
and there's always something.
And it isn't just what's going on in the Ukraine. For me, 90% of it is the way the world is reacting to the obvious, aggressive tragedy that is either about to happen or will hopefully be averted right as we get ready
Yeah.
for it. But this line that was in an article, and I want to give them credit for it, it's taken out of CTV News, says, and listen to this one, 5 days into Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and his courageous nation have already done more to transform the West policy toward Russia than 30 years of post-Cold War summits. And it says that his defiance has inspired and shamed the United States and the European Union into going further and faster in turning Russia into a pariah than it appeared that they were ready to go.
Yep.
It's almost like we believed the bully, except he didn't. And he said, fine, bring it on. And now we're all sitting there going, yeah, they're not that tough after all, I guess.
Do you think they believed the bully, or they just didn't take him seriously? They thought, okay,
No,
yeah,
I think
Putin,
they've taken him
yeah,
seriously.
you go
No,
do
I-
your thing, whatever.
I think
We're
it's
going to
that
do ours.
No, I think it's that historical bully
They
because he's
really
got nukes.
thought-
Well, he's got nukes, right?
Yeah, but so
He's
do
got
they.
nukes. Yeah, but I mean, first one wins. This isn't where if he goes full crazy.
I would think that if that was really a concern, something would have been done before now.
No, it's
because
always a
even with
concern.
him threatening it, nobody seems to be that concerned. They're like, okay, yes, we are at heightened alert, but Biden has come out and said it's not going to be a nuclear war.
Yeah.
Because it would be not just devastating
No,
for
I'm not,
them, it
I'm
would
not-
be for the world.
I'm talking about the last 30 years that they talk about. I'm not saying the last 5 days.
No, but that's what I mean. If they were really concerned about him, it wouldn't have taken 30 years.
No, but it hasn't been him for the past 30 years either.
No, I mean Russia in general.
Yeah.
Putin, yes, for the last, 10, 20 years, 10, 15. Because to me, my feeling is on it, they just didn't kind of brushed him off, patted him on the head and said, okay, yeah, you keep saying what you're saying.
I
And,
don't think that at all.
and we'll just continue on because, yeah, okay, and move on.
No, we did that with Trump.
Exactly.
No, we wouldn't do that with Russia. I don't think that's the foreign policy of that. I mean, we watched the wall come down and we hoped that
Yep.
they were going to get better, and then it's just gone back to it. So, but this guy's got it figured out. This guy's been the next door neighbor, and he had it figured out, and that's what we're going to do. And the coolest thing, as you mentioned too, I saw the two things. I tell you the one meme that Bill Glusky put up from the cheap seats, the things you can see from space. And it's like the Great Wall of China. You can
pyramids.
see the pyramids at Giza, and you can see Vladimir Zelensky's balls from
Yep.
space because they're huge. Absolutely. So good.
But
as you mentioned, now you're messing with a dad.
Well, and as I said, I cannot listen to, I can't not listen. It's there. I want to read it. I want to see everything. And it's not just the fighting going on, but the other aspects, like the fact that he's a family man. At no point did it even cross my mind. I thought he was single. Didn't even occur to me that he had a wife and kids. And we're starting to see that now and hear more because she has come forward. The First Lady has spoken up and said, no, my place is with him and my children. I will be with my children. We will be next to him. I'm not going anywhere. And the vision, and they're young kids, and she's beautiful. I just have to say, she's
Well,
gorgeous.
he's a comedian. All we funny guys, we get beautiful women.
But to see to see her step up and now to realize, wait a minute, because if Kyiv does fall, which Zelensky has said he's there, now he's got his family there, and it shifts, it changes the perception of what's going on. Or yes, he's still taking on the bully, but now there's another aspect to it. He's also the father, and I think that's why a lot of people do relate to him, and possibly why he is in the position he's in now in Ukraine.
I think if anything were to happen to him, like don't you think, oh my God, if something ever happened to him? I mean, I would hope the world would just lose its mind.
Well, I think the world's losing its mind now.
Yeah, but
because
I mean,
of
like,
what Russia has done.
Really lose its mind. Crazy. So anyway, that's what's going on. The talks yesterday didn't do much, apparently. And as you said, there is a parade of tanks 40 miles long.
That talk to me was a show. There was, and he even said going into it, expectations were low.
Yeah.
Zelensky. He's like, whatever, we'll meet, we'll talk.
Yeah.
I don't expect anything to come out of this. And then, that's what we woke up to this morning was this caravan, this convoy, 40 miles long.
Yeah.
Of trucks and soldiers and tanks heading into Kyiv or towards Kyiv.
Yeah.
So we'll see
much of that
happens.
going on. Quinte Region, I think, take a bow on the way that we responded, not only getting donations in through the Red Cross and various other registered charities. Be very careful if you get an email. Don't ever click on the email and give money that way, because chances are that is a phishing expedition with scammers. Go to actual websites and make the donations. We talked yesterday about how Ryan Reynolds and his wife are matching. Canadian government, I believe, is matching various others. But not only in giving, but in also taking part in a number of vigils going on.
Yeah, one was held in Picton yesterday at St. Andrew's Church. It was on till 6 o'clock. They also had a book of messages, which they're going to send to the embassy in Ukraine. So if you did attend the vigil and leave a message, that will then be carried on, which I think is wonderful, and sending thoughts and prayers to the Ukraine and handwritten messages. The city of Belleville started lighting the Bridge Street Bridge last night in blue and yellow, which, as we all know, the world now knows what the flag of the Ukraine looks like. That is their colors. So that's going to last. It's expected to for at least another week, for the week. And then I'm sure council will decide after that. And Quinte West is holding a vigil later today and a flag raising ceremony at City Hall at noon to stand with Ukraine. But yes, as we were talking off air, and Jason commented in the news today, just how everyone is talking about it, and everyone around the world is doing what they can. You mentioned the LCBO again last night on the news. I saw that, and I had just read there is a Canadian Ukraine vodka that if you purchase, look for it in the liquor stores. I wish I had the name handy. I apologize. But
as far as you don't know it up by heart,
I know I do. 100% of the proceeds will be going to help Ukrainian refugees. Let's see if I can find it.
Okay. You do that, because the three largest countries of Ukrainian population are, number 1, Ukraine, number 2, Russia, number 3, Canada.
Yeah.
So we have a very large Ukrainian-based population that looked to travel outside of their area. Where did they want to go? For all of the arguing that we've had about freedom over the last 3 months, they chose Canada to go to and put down roots and make great communities. And they've come out in force for these vigils. And we support our neighbors and those around the world fighting for it. It's pretty amazing.
It is. It's incredible to see.
It's pretty amazing. So more about these on inquinte.ca. If you would like any more information on that, and follow or text us in your thoughts at 613-962-0955. We'll have more on the show tomorrow. This first day of March also means, when it comes to the pandemic, a number of restrictions. I don't know, restrictions lifted, mandates lifted. But the big one is that if businesses don't want to, they no longer have to check QR codes for vaccination status in order for you to go into businesses. It does not mean you don't have to show it. It just means a business doesn't have to ask for it.
They're not required by the province to ask for the QR code. And yes, that doesn't mean some businesses still won't.
Right.
And that is their right to do that. So you may try, if a business so chooses and you want to argue about it. No, they can ask you.
Yeah.
It's just not the province doing it. It is this business owner who, for whatever reason, but many have said it's for the further protection of their customers as well as their staff. They want to do it. They want to continue on. So overall, though, the QR codes are being lifted, or the proof of vaccination capacity limits are being lifted in some cases, except for long-term care and healthcare settings. They will remain in place, the capacity limits, and you do have to show QR code entering those places as well. They want to know that you've been vaccinated. And masks continue. That has not been lifted as of yet, but as we mentioned this morning, we've seen some benefits to wearing masks. So even when they do lift, I think many people will continue to wear them, at least during the winter months.
Yeah. Not all the time and not everywhere I go, but I think in the wintertime, because I haven't had so much as a scratchy throat in 2 years. And in our business, to not have a cold or a sore throat is a blessing in the wintertime.
Oh, 100%.
So, yeah, I'll wear a mask when I go grocery shopping or into large areas for a long period of time. The CAA Arena for Belleville Senators have said that they will not ask for QR codes, so you'll not be required to go there for the hockey game. But it carried anyway because maybe the restaurant you're going to go to before or after the game
may still want
to do that. And for those who want to make an argument, that'll be their argument. I don't have to show you anymore.
Okay, well, you don't have to come in.
That's right. You're correct. You don't have to. You didn't have to before.
Yeah.
It just means you can't come in.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see
no
how that
shirt,
goes.
no shoes, no service.
Yeah.
It's no different. If a retailer decides or a business person decides that no, this is something we want to continue with, it's their right to do so. So
we're coming up on the second anniversary. March 13th was the day I remember because it was a Friday. The March break started the next week, and my daughter came home for what she thought would be a couple weeks.
Little did we all know.
And then I had some blood work done 6 weeks later, and the gentleman at Life Labs, when I was getting it done, of course, because that's when all anybody talked about was the pandemic at that point starting. And I said, well, here's hoping we get this over with soon, eh? And he said to me, 2 years. And of course,
again,
my first thought is, that's not very optimistic. As if suddenly I'm telling somebody in the medical community that hopes and prayers will get it done. He said 2 years, and almost 2 years.
Yep.
Almost. To the day. Mm-hmm. Guy had it figured out. So again, say what you will about science, right? They knew. This is how long it's probably going to take, 2 years.
Until we adapt to it and can move forward.
But again, we get the vaccines out. We take the vaccines. We get some sort of quote unquote herd immunity. We all get used to it. We mask. We get through the variants, and then it is going to be what it's going to be.
It's not gone. They're not saying it's gone.
Away.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's adapting and learning to live with it. And now we're getting there, and it looks like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Finally.
And I'll say it on here. I don't know if I'll say it on the air, maybe because I don't have Zelensky's balls, so maybe I won't. But I'm okay with opening it up because I'm double vaxxed and I'm boosted. And there are those that don't want to vax and they don't want any restrictions. And I'm like, have at it. Have at it. I'm fine. I think I'm going to be fine. But if you aren't fine and something happens to you, I don't want to close down anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like if the vulnerable starts getting hit and they've done everything they can, then yes, we need to. But if we're only going to stop now for people who never got vaccinated, no, sorry, we've had 2 years of it. So, no.
And that's, I think, where the frustration is stemming from now, from those who have been vaccinated. You and I have talked about it ad nauseum. We've done everything we can do.
Yep.
The majority of the population has done everything they can do by the health unit guidelines. Yeah, there's no reason why we can't be doing this, why we can't be moving forward. If these few have decided not to have the vaccine, which again, their choice, fine, but we have to move forward.
Yeah. And when I heard numbers this morning on the news, Jason was giving numbers. Here is the least popular take on that I'll put out there. I would rather hear, rather than how many people are in the hospital or have it, I want to know how many are unvaccinated. I want to know whether the measures we've taken and the vaccine is effective. Like if there are 15 people currently in hospital in the Quinte region with me, how many of them are unvaccinated? Of course, you can't do that because of privacy and I get all that. But my thing is, you know what? If it's 13 who aren't, then I'm not worried about it because I'm not. I'm vaccinated. I've taken the time I want to do it. And I want to know, like, so who is it? Like, how close are we to being done with this thing?
You're not asking for names.
No, I'm
just
not asking
numbers.
for names. Yeah, I just want to know vaccine status.
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, because you can't, that's none of your business. Well, you've kind of dragged this thing out for a long time.
Yeah.
I've done everything I can. I'm seeing a whole bunch of people with flags on the back of the pickup trucks who are saying they got to figure it out. I just want to know. I want to know who's right.
Yeah.
I guess that's my point. I want to know who, everybody's mad. Everybody's got a stance, but who's right? I just want to know.
And that's part of the frustration too.
That's
because
my
there's
frustration.
so much out there. You get to the point where, okay, well then where do I find the right answer? What is the right answer? What do I believe? What can I believe? Because this is coming at me and this is coming at me and you're telling me this. And I think a lot of people are just done. Just done.
Yeah. And in the protest in Ottawa, but so many of the mandates we're living under came from Queen's Park. They came from Toronto.
Provincially.
I mean, if I never traveled, there isn't a single darn thing that the Prime Minister mandated that had any effect on me because I'm not getting something at the border. Everything I've lived under came from Queen's Park, which is a different party. So I don't understand. Everybody is up in arms all the time. I want to know who's right.
I don't
at this point.
understand it at all.
So I'm ready for it to be uber done. And then, of course, the great contrast of what's going on in Ukraine just puts it in sharp focus.
Absolutely.
This guy is like, nah, I'm just going to go look after my country. And it's like, you got it figured out, Zelensky. So you win the Nobel Peace Prize. You win everything. You win. You win. He's the guy. So remarkable stuff. So, hey, what a podcast today.
I know.
Wow.
It's a good one.
Must be March. Join us tomorrow for your chance to win some cash. Could be as much as $10,000. We can play Beat the Bank for Sandra Hussey. Who do we have this morning? Olivier from Frankfurt.
Perfect game. Again. We had one yesterday to kick it off. And then Rob this morning decided, you know what? Don't want to be greedy. Have the One Republic tickets. I'm good. Stopped at
four vaults, something like that.
Yeah, 3
4.25.
vaults, 425.
425.
Said I'm good at 3. I'm good at this much. And sure enough, vault number 4.
Would have taken him down. So
he played smart.
that's
good for you,
vault
Rob.
Intuition. He should do like TED Talks and have his own podcast. How to beat the bank. So that's coming up tomorrow morning. We'll also be kicking off our Throwback Thursday, which is a lot of fun. We're getting good vibes on the songs. We'll tell you about that all coming up tomorrow morning with the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. Right across all social media platforms, so Spotify to Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and on our social media sites out of Belleville, Ontario, Canada. Stay safe. Stay warm. March 1st. Enjoy it. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.